Welcome, everybody. Bitcoin continues to see some nice volatility, which has been absolutely fantastic for traders such as ourselves. So I want to take a look at some charts on different time frames, my thoughts on the market, the scalp short I took very recently here just before making the video about half hour ago or so, and of course go over a couple scalping strategies I like to trade by looking at some degen time frames a little bit later into the video here. So with that, let's hop right in. Just taking a look at the weekly chart, I like to start on the longer time frames and start zooming in as I'm doing my analysis. So a lot of you guys are going to be very familiar with this chart, but I think Bitcoin, as far as the long term goes, I think it's in a very, very nice position right now. Obviously, we're going to see a ton of volatility after a massive breakout like we had last week. Volatility both directions is totally to be expected. I mean, if this was any other chart, it's totally normal to see the price wick back into the candle. So it's not an up only mentality here. So to see us pulling back a very minimal amount here, totally understandable, and especially the level we're doing it at, guys. And this is something that I want to bring to your attention. It is beautiful that we broke this old, well, it was our support before phase two of the bear market there. We flipped it into resistance for a few months there, and we've actually managed to break above that level. So I think we're in a very good position. But one thing just to be a little bit aware of is, in a strong trend, the 382 Fibonacci level loves to be respected. I really don't think that's going to be the end all of this whole rally that we have going here. I think it's totally normal that we wicked up absolutely perfect to that level and are seeing a little bit of resistance. I wouldn't even call it much of a rejection yet, to be honest. But definitely a level worth watching, and very nice just to see how well those Fibonacci levels get respected, even if it's just for a short time. But what I really want to see now on the weekly chart is to see us hold this box as support, even if we end up dropping back into it off another Fibonacci level here, which just so happens to line up perfectly with this box that I had mapped out. Just to see us basically reclaim this box as support, just like we had back here. To see that happen again would be absolutely beautiful, and I really don't see why we wouldn't. I personally think that we're on our way to some much higher targets. I truly believe, and guys, this isn't to say we're going straight there. This would take months to play out, most likely. But I really wouldn't be too surprised to see us on our way to the 618 Fibonacci. I've been talking about this as the true bear market rally, or the first bull market rejection, however you want to look at it. I've been talking about this level since I think last November. It's just been on my radar as a level of interest just because we've seen such violent reactions from that in previous market cycles. And again, guys, just in case you are new to my streams or you haven't caught one of my weekly charts in quite a while, also just showing that same support box that I was just talking about, but in the previous market cycle, we did have this little fake out below. That was during the COVID shutdown, so I'm going to chalk that up to a black swan event. Maybe it was just respecting Fibonacci's. I mean, the support level we hit was just kind of just below the 886. So maybe it was just basic chart reaction kind of a thing. But I really do think COVID had a lot to do with that. There was a lot of panic in the market there. But notice, as soon as we reclaim that as support again, that's where we were off to the races. Same with the previous market cycle before that, you guys. Same thing, that phase one of the bear market before we take that capitulation. You can see that we just ended up, well, as soon as we reclaimed that old support as support once again, that's where it was bull market on once again. So I think as far as the macro structure of this chart goes, Bitcoin looks absolutely beautiful to me. It's just that on the shorter time frames, the mid time frames, things are going to feel quite volatile, but that's beautiful for traders such as ourselves. Hopping over to the 4-hour, what I'm looking at right now. Basically just this upward sloping trend line. Actually, sorry, I want to go back to the weekly chart here and check some of the other indicators. Something I wanted to touch on was I've been talking about hidden bullish divergences, or just hidden divergences in general in the indicators lately. And they are very often, well, the hidden divergences I really like because when you're talking about reversals and trends and that kind of thing, is a trend is only going to reverse once, whereas a trend is going to have continuations. And that's where I personally prefer hidden divergences, because they are more likely to be a continuation of the trend, whereas the regular divergences, you're more going for that reversal. So I just prefer to play the trend when I'm looking for which way I'm scalping and that kind of thing. So that's where I really like the hidden divergences, and seeing, you get structure breaks, you see those hidden divergences lining up and that sort of thing. But they're so often a very early warning sign about just basically what's about to happen. I mean, we go to this indicator up here, the oscillator 4, I believe now it's the band oscillator. You can see that we had these hidden bullish divergences well before this ETF news or anything like that. Same with the oscillator 5 down here. It is now the advanced trend oscillator, or the advanced oscillator, I believe is all it's called. Again, we had those hidden bullish divergences here. Basically, I mean, look at this last one here. It would have triggered about here. Within these two candles here, that hidden bullish divergence would have formed. So that's giving you the heads up a couple of weeks before we had that ETF news. So, I mean, yeah, you can say that the market was all driven by this ETF news, whether it was fake or what's not. I don't even know what's confirmed and what isn't at this point, because I just don't give a shit about the news, because at the end of the day, the charts will tell the truth. And I mean, if we saw anything from that whole fiasco, I mean, you can't believe what you see in the media anyways, because apparently there was false claims there and stuff like that. So the fact is, these indicators were actually calling for that move way before the media was printing anything about ETFs. So once again, that's just why I personally like looking at market structure rather than listening to the news. And I just think when you start listening to the news and stuff like that, it's just another point that you can misanalyze as well, because maybe you're just understanding how the fundamentals would react with the market. There's a chance that you can mess that up as well. So just something that I personally stay away from reading the news or anything like that. All right, hopping back to the 4-hour chart here. I do think we have this beautiful upward sloping support line. I know I posted this in the Discord the one day, and I was saying basically look for another touch of this trend line, preferably with some hidden divergences or something like that, just to show that, hey, maybe we will have this continuation from this level. The last one, I guess, where did we get one? So we did have one just before we got this pump. Maybe that was all the move that this was going to get, but nice to see that it did get that. But we just see so many hidden bullish divergences showing up in the chart recently. And I mean, look at the plays that they are making on the 4-hour chart here. This one here, I mean, that would have been, even if it was after this candle, I mean, look how much more the market got out of that one. The first one being back here at these levels. Then we get another one at this pump here. We're starting, even though we're just consolidating sideways, we're starting to see more and more hidden bullish divergences appear. So that's something I don't want to take too lightly. That's just, again, another reason why I think, as far as the long term goes, I think Bitcoin's in a very nice position. I did mention that I took a bit of a scalp short earlier. Even though I'm bullish, I don't care. I'll trade either direction if I see the setup. I might actually get stopped out on the rest of my position here soon. But just to kind of go back into what I was looking at, again, this is just the 15-second chart, but basically I have several of the advanced trends on my chart. Not as many as you, Thumbcase, but thank you for the whole recommendation of getting into this. I probably will add more. But what I really liked about this was basically that we were starting to see some bearish crosses on some of these trends. We got a reversal warning along this trend after we got the bearish cross. I mean, this actually would have been a beautiful short signal there. But I totally missed that one. I wasn't looking at the charts at that point. And I mean, when you're talking about a 15-second chart, things change very quickly. But I did catch this one at this blue dotted line here. And basically, again, we were just watching these indicators for which way the trend is going. I've talked about this before, which way the W's are trending. You can see here on the bottom, we have a reversal warning here, lower low, lower low. We also have We have set a lower low as far as the auto tools go, and we had a lower low here, or sorry, a lower high here, as well as a lower high here. So I really like using these indicators just for helping me spot which way the trend is going, basically. And since those things were leading me to believe that we were still in a downtrend on a very microscopic level here, we also got these this bearish divergence here. So I was basically looking at this as almost a pinpoint accurate entry, as in right when that candle closed, I took my short position here. Stop loss was just above the lower high, basically. There is another strategy. If Thumbcase is cool with it, I'll share, because I got the strategy from him. But there's another one involved with using this signal, but I'll hopefully see one pop up at some point here. Yeah, either way, there's a couple different strategies that I like to use these indicators for with scalping. So yeah, and obviously, guys, there's no magical settings with these indicators that are like, you'll see that I don't even use the signals, like the buy and sell signals. I just like choosing my own entries and making my own strategies, just what catches my eye kind of a thing. So I actually keep my charts fairly naked other than a lot of those trends. So basically, like I said, I'm on a 15-second chart, but I have a bit of a general view of the market because I have trends everywhere from, these are the TMAs. Let me just bring that up. So on the trend type, I have TMAs. 21 is the setting on all of them. And I have all of the trends basically from 1 minute up to an hour currently on my chart. So even though I am scalping on a very microscopic, very degenerate time frame, I can use these indicators to basically just help, again, point me in the direction of the trend, being able to use them to set tight stop losses and stuff like that. So you can see, going back to that short that I had talked about, I closed a third of my position down here at these levels. I figured, hey, you know what? We're in a nice profit. Had a couple reversal warnings form, just getting a little inverse parabola here. So I figured better take a little bit of profits there. Closed a third. Updated my stop loss just above some of these wicks and stuff like that, and also above the lower high there. And so I got stopped out on the other 2/3 of my position. But again, I entered up here, so I just stopped out in more profit. So maybe I should have kept my stop loss at break even on the rest, but whatever. Like I said, I'm fairly bullish on the market as a whole, and I don't know how long I really want to hold a short anyways, personally. Not to say a short can't play out, but that's just my current bias, basically. So I was okay to lock in profits quickly, because when I'm playing a shorter time frame like this, guys, I'm not expecting a home run trade. I will gladly welcome it, and like I said, that's why I'll update my stop loss and stuff like that. But I am always beginning to take profits very quickly on these positions when I'm taking them. So trading the 1 minute or the 15-second chart, anything like that, guys, even the 5 minute stuff like that, it is seen as degenerate behavior. That being said, the main thing, like, it's not for everybody, and I think it's harder to do because it's a much more reactive version of trading. You can miss your entries and your profits and stuff like that very easily. But it's just basically, like I said, not looking for a home run trade, just taking profits quicker. If I'm entering on a 15-second chart, I'm probably starting to take profits within a couple minutes. I'm not waiting several hours to start hitting that button. So if not even getting much profits, just to downsize the risk over time if the trade isn't going in your direction, it doesn't hurt to just scale back that risk a little bit. So that's generally what I do when I'm looking to scalp these very degenerate time frames here. I guess we can erase all of this because that is not a thing anymore. That was actually a very nice little signal here. Got a little fake out of one of these TMAs here, and even got a reversal warning there So, I mean, I obviously missed this. It would have been actually quite juicy to get a little bit of a hedge long at that case, but I don't want to get myself into too many degenerate scalps here while I'm trying to focus with you guys here. But this is one of those times where, hey, I can get a very tight stop loss, right? Because we already had that liquidity grab if we're looking at this signal as the entry. And basically, your entry would be after the W here, basically, or even right after we get that liquidity grab. So entry, let's say somewhere in there, with your stop loss basically just below that structure, because either the signal is a go and you're going to get that immediate reaction, or I'm just considering it a failed signal. So that's kind of how I also look at that. That was actually one of the first strategies I came up with these indicators, was looking for those reversal warnings along those trends, like whether it's it was specifically the 1 hour trend that I used a lot, but just having them all up, I mean, you can see those reactions from different time frame trends. So I mean, I really like having several of them up like this. So another strategy, and I know we were kind of talking about, would be something to watch for where you can get very, very tight stop losses on a position. This is totally Thumpcase's strategy, but if let's say now we get some kind of a bounce here, we set a reversal warning, a bearish one, like a top, let's say, come back down, we end up breaking above that. So this signal fails basically, and then you come back or whatever happens next. But next, what you're looking for is this signal to flash. So if you get that little triangle or the house shaped one, as we've been talking about, you get the failed reversal warning, and then you get that divergence, that bullish divergence signal. What we've been doing, I know we've both been talking about it a little bit, is entering right on that candle close kind of a thing, and having your stop loss literally, I mean, a few dollars away. I've entered trades with that signal. Not just every time that goes. Like I said, guys, it's very specific. You're waiting for a failed reversal warning, and then you're looking for that, basically that signal as your pivot. Once you get some kind of a pullback or whatever, when you get a bullish one kind of a thing. Or on the opposite end, right? If let's say we now drop below this W and come back up, and all of a sudden, boom, we get that house shaped signal here. Something like that. At that point, again, just a short signal, and it's not going to work out every time, obviously, but you can have such a tight stop loss, and that's where you can get into positions with, you know, quite high leverage and that sort of thing. And just even if you are wrong several times in a row, if you hit one of those, just the stop loss is so tight that they can lead to very juicy positions. Hopefully I was explaining that correct. Thump, any input there, either on the voice or in the chat there? Okay, perfect. Yeah, right now, well, we're going to have to see what happens. I'd like to see us start seeing some higher low signals come into play now, since we failed with that lower high, never did hold as resistance. So it is looking like we might take a little bounce to the upside here. Maybe a little pullback first, retest some of these trends. Another strategy I really like, guys, as I mentioned, just which direction the W's are trending. Right now, this is one of those cases. Actually, it's kind of in no man's land right now. We do have a higher low W, but on the top side, we don't have that yet. What I really like to see is, let's say we are trending to the upside. Let's say we had a bearish reversal warning there, and then we see another one here. Well, in that case, they're actually trending to the upside, and then we would see the higher low come in, and that would be your signal at that point. when the W's are trending the same direction, and you're obviously just playing whichever one is going with the trend in your favor. You're not going to be trying to play the reversals that are trending to the upside. You're not going to be trying to short those. You'd be trying to long the bottom ones, basically. And sometimes you see that trend just carry on. And like I said, that's one of the things I really love about these indicators, is really just helping you point out a trend. So right now, the fact that we do have these lows trending to the upside, we just don't have everything lining up with that yet. We did set a higher high here. Like I said, we broke that lower high. I am tempted to start building along, but I think we could see a little bit of a pullback. Another thing I've been using for scalping a lot, just for those potential very, very tight stop loss type of situations, is when, like, let's say right now we're just trading sideways in, let's say, just this very tight range here kind of a thing. If we see now a higher low signal, so another green HL show up somewhere in here, and we're still trading right at that level, I mean, that's one of those times where, hey, if that structure holds and we do have the higher low that does end up holding, I mean, your stop loss could be just basically below it. Again, might not necessarily work out, but that's one of those times where, hey, at least the indicators are pointing you in a direction that, if this trend is to continue here, this is basically a perfect entry with very tight stop loss. So that's another thing I really like to look at. Then that was another reason why I took this short back here, right? Is we had basically this lower high here as our resistance. So when we were trading here and got this signal, like I said, stop loss just above the lower high, just because if the trend is going to continue, I was looking at this being that change in structure. So just one of those real tight stop loss scenarios, and that's why I took that, even though, like I said, I am bullish on the market mid to long term, but I'll still take a scalp short if everything's lining up. Does anyone have any questions about my settings, the strategies I've been talking about? Want to share your opinions on the market, anything like that? Because I've basically given my 2 cents about how I feel about the market. Oh, you know what? Actually, before we get on that topic, I just want to talk about the potential scenario that we do end up losing this support. I think, that's another reason why I'm not opposed to taking a scalp short, taking partial profits very quickly and hoping for a runner, is because, we have tested this upward sloping support several times, and we do also have this big demand zone. But if we end up dropping that diagonal support as well as that demand zone, kind of a double whammy there. I mean, yeah, we have this potential support back here. I don't know if that's going to have more strength than this demand zone here. But if we do end up dropping this support, I think it's very likely that we test some of these much lower levels, and that could end up being a very juicy short. But like I said, I'm not expecting that, but I really wouldn't be opposed to catching that if a part of a scalp kind of turned into a runner, for example. And that's generally how I scalp, guys. Well, I went over it earlier, but I usually close anywhere from a quarter to a half of my position very quickly, and then I hope to catch a home run with the rest of it. Usually isn't going to happen, but you know what? Open to the idea. So yeah, that's about my 2 cents on the market as a whole. Other than that, I'm just going to keep looking at some of these degenerate time frames here. See if it's just nice looking at these shorter time frames, even if trading these isn't for you guys, because let's be honest, trading these degen time frames, I mean, it's dangerous. You're very likely, I'm going to say you're very likely to revenge trade, over leverage, basically toss risk management out the window. If that sounds like something that you might do, maybe consider not playing those smaller time frames. But it is nice to go over these smaller time frames with you guys, just because then we can watch things happen live, so we can talk about what the indicators are doing, kind of what I'm watching, whether or not I even take a position, just kind of how I'm analyzing the chart on the move, because obviously things change very quickly on these time frames. I haven't tested those strategies, or many of those strategies, on higher time frames. I have definitely. The thing is, some of these strategies, I've only had these second charts and stuff. I just upgraded my trading view like not even a month ago, I'm pretty sure. So these strategies are actually fairly new to me, period. So no, I haven't really been watching them on longer time frames yet. As far as which way the W's are trending, that's something that I've been watching for several months now, and I have seen it play out on longer time frames as well. Seeing the direction of which way the W's are trending when they start to do a reversal. That's just kind of when, start to watch what's the market doing. It's a bit of a warning, right? If all of a sudden, we are trending to the upside now, but now we get a bounce and we see a lower high W come into play. That's where, or even before that happens, let's say we see a lower low W come into play, and then we get a lower high W come into play. That's a beautiful sell signal. Obviously, again, not going to happen every time, but quite often that's a very good indication, or at least a warning that the trend may be shifting, kind of a thing. And yes, like I said, I have noticed that on the 1 hour and the 4 hour and stuff like that. So I think no matter, it's not even necessarily these signals in particular. I'm sure you could load up any of the signals on these indicators. Just kind of focusing on which direction that signal is trending, right? Like I haven't really paid much attention to the direction of which way these little white triangles are going, but that might be a thing as well, right? I mean, if we had these W's trending to the upside and now we ended up getting a higher, well, I guess no, it would already be broken, but just basically whichever signal I'm looking at, just kind of noticing which way the top ones are going as well as the bottom, just to kind of notice whether or not the trend is being pointed out by the indicators, kind of a thing. Hopefully I didn't confuse you with that rambling. Whether you're using the TP signals, the take profits, or the W's, the reversal warnings, just whichever signal you're looking at, just seeing which way they are trending. That's often just a sign to me personally, just which way I like to be scalping the market then, basically. Yeah, as Thump said, it works on the higher time frames if you play off the trend lines, like these trends that I have. Obviously, I could load up the 2 hour, the 4 hour, the 8 hour, the daily, the weekly. I could load all of those up, and then we'd have a whole bunch more of them. And then you can start looking at that pattern, finding the reversal warnings off of those trends. And actually, I bet they're significantly stronger if I were to take an educated guess. If you got a reversal warning off, let's say, a daily TMA or EMA or whatever trends you prefer to use, chances are they're going to hold a little more weight than what they're going to hold on the 15-second or the 1 minute or anything like that. As far as chart settings, or the settings I use on the advanced trend tool, because that is my favorite tool that I've just been using it the longest. I guess I've been using this religiously for the last year or so, actually a little over a year. Basically, very important, gradient one color. I just like the way it looks. I invert the colors because I like to see the indicators kind of line up, where I see, you know, as we pull back, we see all of the indicators lining up with, you know, we got this indicator flashing green, we got the bright green candles, we got a green oversold conditions, we got green on the stable coin indicator here. Just everything kind of lines up, so that's why I like to have my candle color reversed. And again, I have all the trends basically from 1 minute to an hour. So and you only get 2 per indicator, right? So that's why I have it loaded up here 3 or 4 times basically. So I have those set to TMA, 21, 1 minute, 3 minute, 5 minute, 15 minute, 30 minute, 1 hour basically. Other than that, I use reversal warnings. That's those W's that I mentioned. One of my favorite signals there. And divergences, regular and hidden. I made them all white so they stand out. That's these guys, obviously. And what else? I also use the auto charting tools. I've just recently started using that, and that would show us these lower highs, higher lows, higher highs, all of those green and red signals there, those pivot points basically. That would be the auto charting tools, which also happens to show you daily opens, weekly opens, the monthly opens, all those very strong structural levels on a time-based type of level. I'm sure all of you have heard about, you know, daily opens being important, monthly opens, weekly opens, all that sort of thing. So this indicator really helps to basically draw your attention to those levels as well. I'm very tempted to take along just because we're bouncing off this trend. You know what? No, I don't have the signal. I'm not going to do it. Even though we have the higher highs trending to the upside. Just not ready to commit to a long yet. So yeah, settings on that I believe are just default actually on the auto charting tools. Other than that, this oscillator up here, the band oscillator, I added the hidden divergences. I believe those were not checked on at the time. Same with the oscillator 5 down here. I believe I had to add those, the hidden divergences. Like I said, I just personally prefer the hidden divergences. I've just been noticing a lot of strength out of them recently, so I really like those and like having them up. On the stable coin indicator down here, I haven't used this much. I know Thump, you've been talking about using it and loving it. I haven't really tested it a whole bunch yet, but again, I'm just looking for confluence. So again, you know, seeing regular bullish divergences here, for example, lining up with one down here, just seeing just more confluence out of the indicators agreeing with each other kind of a thing. So again, regular divergences, hidden divergences. I don't know how exactly this indicator works or anything like that. I'm just using it currently as basically confluence with divergences. And that's another thing I just really love that all these indicators do. They're just so good at pointing out those divergences because I don't really care how they're happening. I just want the indicators to basically throw them in my face. Hey, bright green, hidden divergence there. Maybe that's something I should be looking at type of a thing. Pull up the 3 and the 4 hour trends. Ooh, sure. Ooh, this is looking nice. Higher highs, higher lows. Maybe, yeah, whatever. I'll wait for some kind of a pullback, I guess. All right. Add another advanced trend. I am going to turn everything off because I don't want it to contradict what my other settings are doing on my one. There we go. So the only thing I have off of this advanced trend version will be, again, we're going to change it to TMA. And what do you say? The 3 and 4 hour. And I'm actually, yeah. Oh, and hop over to the 5 minute. Ooh. I'm actually going to turn off the other one. So this is just the 3 and the 4 hour. Oh, wow. Look at that beautiful. Oh, man. Look at that support. Oh, man. Every time it was a beautiful long entry. That's hilarious. Well, I guess, you know, if you get into a long position, just check this out and set your stop loss below this, hey? Oh, that's actually quite a ways away on the 5 minute. That's a $800 move. Holy smokes. Yeah, so going back to these strategies working on the longer time frames, you guys, again, just if you're looking at longer time frames, then you're obviously looking at longer time frames on the trends in the indicators as well. And just, yeah, look how beautiful that's held. Holy. Yeah, exactly. Generally speaking, you're going to get a lot bigger of a move off the longer trends, right? Holy. Yeah, as soon as we got that bullish cross, basically, hey, it was just off to the races. Very cool. Yeah, thanks for bringing that to my attention. I'm going to have to leave that one up. Yeah, guys, when it comes to using multiple algo trends here, Thump is your master. He's the one who got into loading up a bunch of them like this, and I'm loving it. I do find that when I have a whole bunch of them loaded up, sometimes I'll get an error. But yeah, love having a bunch of them up. Looking for those bullish crosses, looking for the price to hold on some of those trends, especially when you can get reversal warnings and stuff like that along them. I don't really want to fight this trend right now. That could be a nice sell signal just because it's so close to this trend here that we got this reversal warning as well as that bearish divergence. But I personally don't want to take it because I don't want to bet against it. For one, just that we have this high and we do have a higher high. So that right there is a warning to me that, you know, we might be ready to trend to the upside. It's not confirmed by higher lows. I mean, I guess we had this higher low back here. Ooh, actually, Thump, would this not be a sell signal with a very tight stop loss? Because we broke this W here. I guess that would be a version of, well, that would be an example of that scalping strategy. I'm really not feeling that bearish right now, and I don't know if I want to take that. What are the other indicators saying? Yeah, we got a hidden bullish divergence. I don't know if I want to take that one. But like I said, guys, talking about that strategy earlier, that is an example. But yeah, like I said, there's just a few things warning me not to. Basically a perfect touch in line with this. Yeah, things are looking too bullish for me. I don't really want to play the short side right now. Not while we have the higher highs here as well. Like I said, the higher low as well. I really don't like banking against that indicator. That's been a pretty powerful one. Another bullish cross there as well. Yeah, I don't really want to bet against the bulls right now. Good thing. They're looking hungry. Again, guys, 15-second chart. Take it for what it is. Oh, we're getting close to that lower high level for the 1 minute. Getting very close to that level. Yeah, again, that might be the rejection there. Again, I don't really want to bet against the bulls right now, but that might be it as far as micro play goes. But again, on the what's it saying on the 1 minute for the, oh no, we still have lower highs, lower lows. So if you were looking for a short, I mean, I guess that would be kind of where you'd be looking. What are Fibonacci's looking like if we pull from this swing high here down to where we bottomed? We are getting right in that 786, 886 Fibonacci pocket. You guys know I love that fib pocket. I find it respected so often. So that may also give the bulls a little bit of a hard time here. I think I might scalp a little short. Very small. And basically, if we break this high here, I'm out. I'm willing to accept a very small loss there. I find quite often if we break through the 886, then the trend's just going to kind of continue. But as it stands right now, that is the Fibonacci pocket that I kind of like to scalp from as well. Not getting as harsh of a rejection as I was hoping for. So again, I think the bulls do have some strength, I think. But we'll see. Go to the 1 second. Oh boy, really getting into the nitty gritty. All right, 1 second chart. Here we go, leggies. Stablecoin indicator here. Oh, right here. Oh, way back. Right here. Yeah, like after we broke bullishly here, we ended up getting a whole bunch of hidden bullish divergences. Is that what you're talking about? Oh, 23.35. Way back here. Okay, yeah, and we see all these bullish divergences here. There's definitely a ton of bullish divergences there. The one thing that would concern me about that is I wouldn't know where to enter based on that because it obviously trended to the downside the whole time. Oh, find holds on the trends when you see that kind of a thing. So you're talking, yeah, here we kind of see us hold that trend with all of these bullish divergences. Okay, yeah, yeah. I see what you're saying. Yeah. Yeah, this is more your warning signal that hey, when we get near a trend and we start finding support along one, that may be the time to take your bullish position. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Breaking Sam Bankman-Fried found guilty on all charges. No way. I mean, good. You know what? This oh man. Yeah, I don't like this. You know what? I'm literally just putting my stop loss up here. I don't like this position, but I don't want to back out if the stop loss is basically break even. But I don't really want to be in this position because we're starting to set more higher highs. We're starting to see the W's still trending to the upside here. I think the Bulls have some strength here. Even if we do see a little pullback here before we get up here, I'll be looking to take profits if we get any kind of downside move. I don't think I'm gonna get that. I think I'll get stopped out at a very small loss here. Um, on the 15 seconds, see multiple divergences right next to each other. Well, even something like right here, right? I mean, we saw our hidden bullish divergences side by side there. Then we came down, we tested and held this trend here with a W and everything. And I mean, that's where we kind of took off. Okay, yeah, I wasn't quite sure how you were using that stablecoin indicator. That makes a lot of sense. Yeah, thanks for sharing that. I'm gonna look at that a little more. What's the long and short saying? Oh, the market is actually retail short. Binance retail is 55% short, about 45% long. So that's more fuel for the upside, in my opinion. That, you know, if the market, there's not a whole lot of market that's long yet. I mean, there's still a lot of uncertainty in these times. And I mean, that's just more liquidity to be grabbed. You know, talking about a potential pullback as well, I just noticed out of the corner of my eye here. So this is the 1 month chart on the dashboard here. I mean, look at, I don't even know if I've ever used this chart here, but just looking at it at a quick glance here, I mean, look at that massive monthly engulfing candle that Bitcoin had. I mean, it would only make sense that we pull back into that candle a little bit before taking off, right? So, I mean, to see us pull back for a week or two, I don't think would be all too uncommon. And again, like I said, kind of see what happens with this blue box. If it flips to support, I mean, it could be in a very nice place here. I've been on Twitter quite a bit. I haven't really noticed. I don't know. I actually see a lot of people thinking that this is a suckers rally still, and I don't know. I just can't feel that way when we've broke such an important resistance level on a weekly chart. I mean, you guys know I'm a 15-second to a minute guy here, a minute man. But when I'm like a weekly chart, I gotta take that serious. Yeah, guys, if we do end up getting a pump, and I know I say this pretty much every stream, but if we do get a pump up to that 618 fib, I mean, obviously nothing has to happen again. I mean, just because it's happened previous market cycles doesn't mean it has to again. But just something to be cautious of whenever we get to that level. I mean, we see a very significant pullback. You can see this one, we got about a 40% correction to the downside there once we tested that level, that market cycle. This one was a lot bigger. Again, maybe this was COVID driven, but we got more like a 70% correction off the 618 that time. Had we only dropped to the blue box, it would have been more like 50-60%, but whatever, it is what it is. Either way, very strong rejection off that level. So if we get to that level, that's just going to be on my radar that, you know, nothing has to happen again, but I want to really talk myself out of having FOMO. So I keep mentioning this because I think there's going to be a lot of FOMO when we start seeing, hey, Bitcoin's back at $50,000. Everyone gets super excited and it's on its way to all-time highs. I think that's the perfect recipe to see a harsh rejection there, because not only is that an important fib level, has been in the past, we also have this structure lining up with this level as well. So I mean, there's a lot of things going for the bears once we get to that level. But something to be aware of, guys, is every other market cycle, and again, does not have to play out the same. But whenever we got those weekly candle closes above that yellow 618 fib, I mean, it wasn't just bull market on, it was parabolic activity on. I mean, same with this previous market cycle. As soon as we got that weekly close, I mean, it was straight vertical from there. So doesn't have to happen again, but this level is very much so a level of interest in my books. And this 618, that's at about 48, 49,000. Really, anywhere from 45 to 50,000, I think is going to be a very important level for the market. I'm actually curious, just because this market cycle, I have noticed the 786, 886 Fibonacci's respected so well so many times. I'm wondering if we don't even get a bigger fake out, go up a little bit higher to these levels and get rejected. That would basically be like 57 to 64 kind of a thing. But I don't know, just previous market cycles, you can see that 618 was a very important level in the market. Well, guess I should have held that short, eh? There's that, we did get a little bit above that 886, but again, I still really don't want to bet against the bulls right now. I'm more intrigued on playing the scalp side from the bullish side. Any scalps short I take right now are generally going to be smaller than my longs just because I do have that bullish bias. But yeah, that 786, 886 fib pocket is a very nice level of interest. Anyone have any last minute questions about anything in general? I am going to be logging off soon here. Girlfriend made one of my favorite dishes for dinner here, so I'd like to get in that. See a couple people typing, and then we'll basically wrap up. Guys, if you are watching this on my YouTube channel a little bit later, because I will have this uploaded, and also those of you who are new to my streams and that sort of thing, new to the ALGO community in general, I do post these live streams in case you miss them or you come late or you want to go back on anything. I do post them to my own YouTube channel here, YouTube Trading, all one word. I do upload them to the Academy as well, but that usually takes a couple days until they're accessible there, so they are up here a little bit faster. And sometimes when I don't have time to make a video or don't feel like it, I will just be posting analysis on my Twitter account as well. Yeah, those of you who are watching this stream a little bit later on my YouTube channel, please do me a favor and hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't. If you want access to these beautiful indicators as well as a couple of no KYC crypto exchanges, I've got a couple of referral links down below for some special bonuses, discounts, and so on. I've actually just been notified by BingX that they're actually giving my followers an airdrop event currently, so that's super cool as well. Check that out in the link down below or on my Twitter. But yeah, other than that, I hope you all enjoyed the stream. Let me know if there's anything that you particularly liked, didn't like, anything you would rather see me talk about in the future, anything like that. Hit me up in the Discord there, you guys. Yeah, Lord Drake, good to see you here too. I did notice you pop in. Nice to see you here. As well as all you guys. Obviously, a lot of you guys have been coming to these streams for a year now, so I appreciate you guys being here. Oh, sorry, Jeff. I don't know if the alerts are working currently. I know there's always been a little bit of issues with the alerts on the trading view end of things. I have used them before with the buy and sell signals, but I found that they were... my phone was alerting me when the signals had not closed yet. It was just saying it every time they would come up, and even on shorter time frames. So I don't know, that could be different now. I have not looked into that for several months. But yeah, thank you guys so much for tuning in. I always appreciate talking crypto with you guys. Also just keeps me, this is kind of, I know we always talk about how you should keep a trade journal and that sort of thing. This really helps me out in that sort of a way too. Just talking through my emotions and what I'm feeling on the market really helps me stick to a plan. So I always appreciate having you guys here and getting to go over my view on the markets, and also learning from you guys, learning scalping strategies and stuff like that from you guys as well. So we're all here learning together. All right, guys. Like I said, there's a few links down below for also, like I said, with these indicators, anyone watching this on my YouTube later, if you do want to be a part of these live streams, as well as coaching events put on by many other coaches, there's 1 or 2 live streams every day in the Discord. So if you're signing up, getting those indicators, be sure to check out the Discord as well. I honestly believe over half the value is there alone. And yeah, it's just a great community, very helpful. Everyone's there to have a good time and help each other out. So definitely get involved with that. There's a 15% discount referral link down below. And like I said, if you need access to a couple of no KYC exchanges, I have links down below for that as well, including this special airdrop on my Bing referral. So check that out as well. With that, I'm out. Stay safe, my friends. Peace.